Insider reveals how Zhang Youxia was taken from China's military headquarters. The sudden downfall of Zhang Youxia, vice chairman of China's powerful Central Military Commission, has triggered heightened security throughout Beijing, fueling speculation about increasing instability within the Chinese regime's armed forces. Zhang, one of the highest-ranking officers in the People's Liberation Army, was officially announced in recent days as being under investigation, along with Liu Xinli, a member of the Central Military Commission who also serves as chief of its Joint Staff Department. However, details surrounding Zhang's removal remain opaque, in accordance with the Chinese Communist Party's long-standing practice of tightly controlling information about internal power struggles. Detained inside military headquarters. An insider from within the Chinese military told the Epoch Times that Zhang was taken away on the spot just before an internal meeting at the CMC's headquarters in Beijing. Security arrangements at the venue had been adjusted in advance. The insider said Zhang was unarmed at the time and did not resist arrest. His personal security detail had already been reassigned months earlier, and on the day of the meeting, Zhang's guards were instructed to remain outside the conference hall. During Zhang's arrest, there was a brief physical altercation between on-site personnel and Zhang's security detail, the insider said, but Zhang himself did not resist and was quickly escorted away. The CCP has not released official details beyond the brief announcement of an investigation. The Epoch Times couldn't independently verify the insider's account. Disappearance and downfall. Chinese state television footage shows that Zhang last appeared in state media outlets on January 12, when he attended the 5th plenary session of the CCP Central Commission for Discipline Inspection. Liu was also present on that day. Both men subsequently disappeared from public view before the regime officially confirmed their purge. The insider said the investigation into Zhang and Liu had been conducted in secret for several months. When the CCP's top leadership decided to move against them, the case had already been classified internally as involving serious political issues, including allegations of deviating from the central leadership and engaging in separatist activities. Such language points to allegations that go well beyond corruption and instead touch on political loyalty, an especially sensitive charge under Chinese leader Xi Jinping, who has repeatedly emphasized absolute obedience within the military. Beijing on high alert. Following the official announcement of Zhang's arrest, security levels across Beijing visibly increased, according to residents who spoke to the Epoch Times. Several said police and armed personnel were deployed more heavily along major roads, including Chang'an Avenue, which runs past key government buildings. Police checks of identification documents were reported both on the streets and inside subway stations. The atmosphere has clearly tightened, said Shi, a Beijing resident who gave only her surname out of fear of reprisal. There were guards every few steps. There were fewer people and cars than usual, and everything felt tense. Shi also noted that some senior CCP leaders have recently been absent from public view, adding to the uncertainty. What they're doing, outsiders really have no way of knowing, she said. Other residents reported seeing armed soldiers stationed along certain main roads with government buildings, although no large-scale traffic disruptions were observed. On Chinese social media platforms, some users reported that on January 25th and January 26th, authorities conducted concentrated checks of rental population records in some neighborhoods. Subway riders described police ID inspections and canine patrols in station halls. Although most said commuting was not significantly affected, many noted that more security personnel were present than usual. Unusual silence in state media. China observers have also pointed to the unusually restrained way Chinese state media have reported on the case. Chan, a Beijing-based scholar who gave only his surname out of fear of reprisal, told the Epoch Times that coverage of Zhang's investigation was muted across major official platforms. State television mentioned it once during a midday news broadcast, but it was absent from the evening news, he said. In People's Daily, the report appeared on an inside page, and some publicly accessible pages were later adjusted. Currently, Zhang's name remains listed among Politburo members on the CCP's official website. Zhang and Liu also still appear on published lists of CMC members, despite the announcement that they are under investigation. That's highly unusual, Chen said. When an investigation has already been announced, you normally see names removed quickly. This ambiguity raises more questions about how the leadership is handling the case involving Zhang and Liu. Chen said that even officials within the regime, including senior figures, are unable to offer a clear or consistent interpretation of events. No one can really say what's going on, he said, suggesting that the confusion may reflect an ongoing and unresolved power realignment at the top. The internal situation is extremely complicated. Ripple effects through the military. A source close to the military told the Epoch Times that the abrupt shakeup points to deeper structural turmoil within the People's Liberation Army and could have far-reaching consequences. The CCP regime is in a transition period, the source said, and it's not a positive one. It's not moving toward greater openness. Instead, it's a clear regression. Zhang and Liu have served in senior military roles for decades, the source noted, and their influence extends well beyond the top leadership through promotion and patronage networks built over time. This isn't just about replacing a few people at the top, the source said. It could affect an entire chain of personnel. Officers at the battalion level and above may all be subject to reassessment or removal. Even officers who never worked directly with Zhang or Liu could find their careers affected, according to the source, because their professional records are often linked through shared postings, recommendations, or advancement pathways. Once the political classification changes, people further down are inevitably implicated. At the very least, their future prospects will be reevaluated, the source said. In the short term, the uncertainty is likely to lead to tighter discipline and increased demands for obedience within the military. However, over the longer term, it remains unclear whether such measures will stabilize the system or deepen internal distrust, according to the source. For now, the priority seems to be to suppress disorder and keep things from spiraling, the source said. Whether they can actually sort it all out, no one is confident. Xu Jia contributed to this report.